Oh, God.
I know, I'm loud and crazy. You haven't even seen nothing yet. Hey, hey! Oh, no spot. No spot.
You can still see her, Dreamer. She's right there.
Oh my gosh. It's so scary.
You think I'm too heavy to ride her?
I mean, it depends on what her weight is, and I don't really know. I mean, me and my tack are 200 pounds, and I ride horses her size. I've got 2 of them. Now, granted, they are both of them actually, but they're from 100 Acre Farms. They run all the time, so they built their strength up. And the youngest, now the oldest, we don't ride anymore. She's 30. But oh my gosh, you're twitching forever. But the youngest was a professional show horse, and she competed a lot. So she trained a lot. So she is like a tank. So she can hold me no problem. I've got a boy her size, and I ride him. But like I told you the first day, I did not ride him without miles under his feet. When he was a yearling, there we go. When he was a yearling, I would take him out and we would go on 10-mile walks 6 days a week to build up his strength.
I've already lost 30 pounds in anticipation of riding her.
Yeah, that's what the one thing I brought up was horses are very strong. They can carry a lot, but it all depends on your setup. You know, if you've got a show barn and you're keeping your horses stalled, and I only say this because I know someone who does it, and you're keeping your horses stalled 24/7, bringing them out once a week for a ride so that you can get ready to go to a show on Saturday, I would highly recommend having an oversized horse. That's why all of her horses are 15 and 16 hands, even though she's a woman that probably weighs $125 soaking wet, because she doesn't want to put the work into her horses to get them built up and muscular. You know, Clinton, for example, all of his horses are around 14 hands. He's 160 pounds when he was 25 years old. He's now 45, got a couple more beers under his belt. So I'm sure he looks like he's pushing more like 200. There we go. Finally. Then we're...
What were you doing? Trying to get her desensitized?
When I touch her and she twitches and freaks out, I want that to stop.
Ah.
We need to get... I'm just putting my hands all over her so we can find these oh no spots. It's another thing because the farrier's going to touch her in weird places. He's going to brush up against her. And that's a part of...
Can you get a bucket for me, please?
Her freaking out.
To sit on.
Oh. That's a part of her spooking. I mean, to not even be able to come back here and rub her flank like this is a pretty big deal.
Used to could. Then I got sick and got put in the hospital.
And she'll get used to it again. She's already, that's great. The fact that she's willing to eat is great. So we're gonna come back on this side. We're gonna, see all this.
I'm gonna come sit over here in case she starts to flip out.
What are you doing? There we go. That's much better.
Thank you.
Much better.
Chickens, people. There's my chickens. They need water.
Okay, ready? Yeah.
Okay.
Once they empty it, I'm going to have to take it apart and clean it out.
Okay, see, this is not a good place. I was just trying to get in the shade because it's hot. So, sorry about all the moving around, people.
Stand still for absolutely everything. Do this thing. There we go. We're not going to do it today, but if she gets more used to that.
You want her saddle? You want the little light saddle?
Popping up on her.
You want me to get the tiny little light saddle? See if you can put it on her?
Oh no. I'll be getting on her back without a saddle first.
She'll let you right now if you want to.
Yeah, we're not going to take that chance just yet.
She's never bucked.
If she's being jumpy about this, we kind of want to be clumsy where we're pushing and pulling her, kind of bumping her off.
She has been broke before.
There we go.
It's been about a year, but she has been broke before.
Gotta do this with
I rode her on
new horses to me, whether they're broke or not, because I want them. I want to know I'm not going to get kicked or bucked.
She impressed me by going on a,
See what happens.
going on a 2-hour trail ride. Her longest ride was a 2-hour trail ride, and she did so good. She's fearless on the trail. Except for Killer Rock.
Let's see. Okay, I'm going up and off.
And that's the most she does. She's a good horse.
Eventually, I'll get my legs swung over, and we'll slowly start sliding off of her until we can slide right off the back. See the
That's
other
one. That's one thing I never did because it scared the hell out of me because she
This is
kicks.
called the Jeffrey method. And it was also made by an Aussie. And you basically just human curry comb. The goal is to get on her. Like I said, we're doing uncomfortable things like I'm pushing down on her neck and her shoulders.
Look at that. She's a good girl.
She's figuring out real quick that the answer is to stand still. All right. Let's change up something else.
She's a smart
See
horse.
how we do here. So we did this really good last time. What?
See, this is all we needed was him. We needed him in June.
Yeah.
And front legs.
He lives clear down in Centerville. We're going to have to buy our farm in Centerville so he doesn't have to travel so far.
No, I said I got to travel.
Yes, but he's making her a good horse. You see the difference? I'm just teasing. There's some pretty farms down there, and their prices are a lot better than around here, but
Yeah, we chose Centerville because it's historic farmlands. I can't remember what the hell the Pennsylvania law is, but they cannot ever change the farmlands out there. They cannot zone us out. They cannot restrict our building with permits whatsoever. No regulations whatsoever. You
We're
can
moving
drive
to
your tractor
Centerville.
on the road without a plate and insurance.
we're moving to Centerville, and you can just live at the camp during weekdays.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were looking for a very specific type of property. And I mean, it wasn't on purpose. I had a lawyer look at it. He just so happened to be at my parents' house
Taking
when I
an
was
hour
there
to get to
doing
and from work.
business stuff from the company we owned. Good job.
Yeah, we're looking for a specific type of farm, like the old time structured build.
You're gonna want to back up, I'm sure.
We want to have a farm with outbuildings, with a real barn. My own preference is to have a nice old farmhouse. It's about 100 years old, but it's more for the horses and the chickens and the eventual goats.
More about the outbuildings than the house itself.
Yeah.
That's how we were. It was much more important to us that that's actually what sold us on the house. Was they had a nice pavilion with a concrete ground, so it was a nice little porch cookout area, and then they had a nice Amish built barn. It's not ideal in modern terms, because we know now that we should have 7-foot or 8-foot doorways. If I had anything bigger than the ponies and small horses I had, they would not fit. I had the horse that I took in for training that didn't last very long. Her horse was a little over 16 hands. She had to duck to come in the barn. But I do have small horses and they fit just fine. I know it's uncomfortable, but you have to get used to it.
I think Dreamer's going to top out at 15, maybe a little bit over.
If you think she is a year old, I would wager about the same.
She was captured a year ago and she was only a foal.
Because like I said, I have a yearling who is about a little more sticky on that side. Let's do that way again.
It's okay, baby.
She'll get
See,
used to
that's
that when
why
you
she
throw a
doesn't
lot of
listen
stuff
to
in
me.
her head.
She's always been head shy. Good girl.
Yeah, now when I'm doing that, I'm not jerking on her because I want her to find the answer. I just want her to feel that pressure. And what that adds to is we're kind of putting that steering wheel on her from the ground. So let's see what we can do here from this side. And we're going to start already introducing. I'm going to make you spin.
I don't know if you like this type of drink or not, but if you're hot, I can get you one of
I
these.
bring water everywhere I go. I got a half
Right.
gallon. There we go. All right, let's see how she does.
I know it's hot. William doesn't like these.
There we go. All right.
He's a lot nicer with her than John is. I don't really like John, but what are we going to do? He's like the only farrier here.
Yeah.
Stop your feet. Bring your nose. Bring your nose. Think about it.
He's trying to teach her to flex. She's always been stiff. She needs to learn to flex. She's so stiff.
Almost. Almost. Turn that nose a little bit. Okay, here we go. There we go. Oh, there we go.
One of the reasons I had misgivings about sending her to that dressage trainer is because she started telling me about all these gadgets that they use to get their heads in the proper position and all of that. I don't want gadgets used on Willow. She needs to figure it out for herself.
As time goes on and we start getting on her, we will, oh, that was a good one. We will teach her how to hold her head. And I mean, the reason we're teaching her how to hold her head is because we're being impatient. Okay, that's why we're doing it. The more you ride, the calmer she'll get and the more she'll hold her head in the proper position. We want her head like this. This is perfect, right here. We want her neck flat so that she's keeping this belly and this back up. The second this head comes up, this back sinks down, these feet stick, and we've got a resistant horse. See, I like that she keeps putting her head down. That's great. That's great right there.
I just think it's important for a horse to find their own comfortable position. They'll put their head where it's...
Multiple ways to get a proper headset. I do it because I do work with my horses more than most. I let time take over as opposed to constantly wrenching on them. Come on, I know you can do it. I want to see this. I want to see this right here.
I just don't think, I think the gadgets are kind of a lazy way of doing it anyway.
They are, and they'll do nothing but create a problem, especially if you go out group riding. You've restricted where the horse can move its head. So what you're doing is you're putting her at risk of getting kicked in the face, kicked in the temple, kicked in the forehead. When you keep that head unrestricted, which is another reason I'm not a bit fan, because people get these big 5-inch shank bits, and what ends up happening is they keep their horse on, you know, most English riders ride on contact, which translates into when they go trail riding, they still ride on contact. You're cheating me here.
I also told her I wanted Willow to stay bitless, and she said, oh, I just use a snaffle. That's not really bitless.
They are the most gentle, but you can still find plenty of videos of people cutting their horses' tongues in half with them. And it's not, you know, I'm not saying that they're bad. I'm not saying they're evil if you use them. I just would, I mean, any trainer worth their salt, in my opinion, any professional would tell you that if you're new, the last thing you want to do is use a bit of any kind. I mean, if your horse is going to do it in a bit, they're going to do it in a rope halter, they're going to do it in a boselle, they're going to do it in a hackamore. What you're doing is you're giving yourself more experience, you're getting your horse used to, oh, I don't want to bump on you yet, you're not ready for it, you're not ready for
We're losing sight.
But yeah, I mean, and that's part of why I don't use them. I'm relatively new to this. I don't have any, other than watching Clinton Anderson DVDs and being in the No Worries Club, and working, I've probably worked with 30 different individual horses at this point. They're my teacher, he's my teacher. I've never had a professional come and assess me, someone who's got experience, mainly because any of the ones I meet, I wouldn't let touch my horse with a 10-foot pole, including the woman I worked for. She's great at getting results. She'll win you a trophy, but I find her horsemanship, which is care for the horse, I find her horsemanship to be incredibly lacking.
Did she just try to kick you?
That was a good one. No, she's...
Oh.
Now, she was going after a fly, but I'm still going to take that to my advantage and say that's the right answer. We want her whipping that head around and poking herself right there in the shoulder. Let's try that again. Woo! Okay, that fly helped us.